Let's go. Behind the calls. Beautiful. Okay, we are comments. Hanging out at Tin Roof here in a very excited because a lot has happened this week. And normally I have the Daily Crow event to and a lot to dive into. Cody, my man, appreciate you. Also, thanks to DGD for having me on his show earlier. People lose their collective fun. The social media madness that is, all the bullshit. I'm really excited to be out at Tin Roof. $3 drafts, $3 rumple, $3 fireball, great times. This will probably be one of the more done here ever. I that played at North Greenville. So let's see. Apparently those tuned in digitally say the technology is letting us down right now. I have no idea, folks. This is probably the last week I'm going to use this Melon streaming platform I use because it's just dog shit. Either way, again, we are going to take your questions, comments, everything else. Really excited to be back out here. And again, appreciate the fine folks at Tin Roof for having us. It's always a pleasure. It's always a good time. It is hot as hell in Columbia, by the way. Sound Guy Phil's back. Appreciate you, Sound Guy Phil. Great to see you. Great to see you. Chico's in the building. Talon's here. The whole gang is just here, man. The whole gang's here. Yeah, really excited. And again, I see my boy Dalton Hayden's here as well. Appreciate y'all. And like I said, a lot to get into. It looks like we're working now. Okay, this Melon, I don't know. Technology is great till it's not. Muschamp, Fink, Kingston. Am I missing anybody? Hackers? Is there anybody? Let's see. Muschamp, Bobo maybe? Maybe some Bobo hackers? Maybe, Martin hackers. Definitely Martin. He's still salty for sure. Maybe some, maybe, I don't know. Is there anybody else? We got a little light shower coming down outside. Love to see that. Cool you off a little bit or make it muggy as hell. Where do we want to start? Do I really want to dive into the social media stuff? I do. Because I'm going to give a little PSA. I've been wanting to say this for a little bit. There's probably a lot of folks in here that aren't on Twitter. And you don't live on Twitter, you don't see Twitter. And it's a gift and a curse because if you aren't on Twitter, the negative is you miss out on a lot of the inside jokes, right? A lot of things that happen that they're not necessarily worthy of content, like a post on Instagram or a post here, post there, or whatever. They're not worthy of content in that way, but the banter that occurs. The banter that occurs on Twitter is something that's so unique, and if you're not locked into that, then you miss out. Okay? But for those of us who are on Twitter, you may have saw Cam Smith come at yours truly for whatever reason. Whatever reason. Again, it's the slow time of the year, and everybody needs to get their juices flowing in some type of way. Okay? And so the madness began on Monday. When I said for Big Game Boomer, dropped the list, Cam Smith ranked the #1 DB in college football. And all I said was making the point that Isn't it wild that Cam Smith went from fans literally wanting his scholarship pulled and kicked off the team after the punt went off his leg in 2020 against Tennessee, which is true, by the way. For those who might recall that, I was not one, but for those who recall that, Cam Smith had to cut off his Instagram comments. It got so bad, people commenting on his shit. So over the top. It was ridiculous because Cam Smith was far from the reason we lost that game. And we have the receipts to prove that's exactly what I said. But it's crazy he went from that to being basically anointed right now, I'd say, is maybe the best DB in college football. I mean, it feels like it happened so quickly that he's all of a sudden just being touted as this first rounder, no doubt first rounder, J.C. Horn level defensive back. Like, it's just crazy how that happened, right? Life comes full circle. It's wild. Well, Cam Smith took that personally for whatever reason, said that I was one of the ones talking shit or whatever, which I wasn't, which is the funny part. If that would have been the end of it, we wouldn't be talking about it right now. If that would have been the end of it, just me and Cam Smith's back and forth banter, that we wouldn't be talking about it right now. But the PSA I want to give is this, and there might be some people in this fucking room right now that have said some shit, think some shit, thinking it right now. That's fine. I really don't care because I'm right here and you're there. But a PSA for those who operate on social media, whether it be Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, when you at someone or you post about someone or to someone, and it goes from sports banter to personal attacks, what you need to keep in mind is not how it affects the person who you are directly speaking about or speaking to or tagging. You need to keep in mind how it affects that person's loved ones, their family, their friends, people they're in relationships with, their employer. When you spread falsehoods and rumors and bullshit, baseless, serious accusations, keep that in mind, how it affects others. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Because hey, listen, it comes with the territory, man. I lean into it in a sick and twisted way. I love it. I love the banter. The beauty's in the banter. I love it. I love it. I'm conditioned to take it. It is what it is. But honestly, the shit I've had to deal with this week from people in my circle that have seen the shit on Twitter, that's what pisses me off. So I doubt it's anybody in this room specifically. Maybe it is, and I don't really give a damn. Just keep it in mind. That's all I'm saying. Giving you a little social media 101. Beautiful. What's up, man? We'll get you up here in like 10 minutes or so. Just give me a sec to rant. I got some shit I want to say. We got Connor in the building, though. We're going to talk North Greenville baseball, the Gamecock connection. A lot of my homies. I'm sure Connor played for them. A lot of my homies, Matt Williams, Trey Dyson. We had them both on the show. So yeah, excited to talk some ball. D2 ball player to D2 ball player. You love to see that. But that just, again, I wanted to throw that out there. I wanted to throw it out there for all of the slapdicks on Twitter. When you operate, just keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind. That's all I'm saying. Because like I said, I can take it. I don't give a damn, right? I know the truth. I know the realities. But it's the way it affects all these other people that are connected. Just keep that in mind. That's all I'm saying. So we don't need to beat a dead horse about it. Many of you probably aren't even on Twitter and like, what are you talking about? But Twitter can be a very toxic cesspool of people. So it is what it is. Anyways, we are going to take your questions, comments. We're taking calls too, because now we have the ability to take calls. We're going to have Landon Powell, I guess, call in. But we've got the ability to take calls. It took me a year to ask sound guy Phil, hey, let's connect the phone and take calls like we do on the Daily Crow. I could have just asked, and I didn't. So here we are, a year later, figuring this out. By the way, speaking of North Greenville, Jalen Vasquez committing to North Greenville today. Gamecocks, played third, short, second, whatever, infielder. I'm sure he will ball out and crush there. I'm sure he'll do really well. Also, big news, Jonathan French from Clemson on campus today. He was at Founders Park. We'll see if that, Dylan Brewer, his teammate from Clemson, obviously committing. We'll see if he pulls the trigger and also commits. I think he'd be a huge addition for us, a plus addition. But somebody mentioned this on social media, and I agree, because it's a very weird time in the Carolina-Clemson baseball rivalry when you got South Carolina so openly welcoming. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, it's wrong, but does it not? It feels a little strange. Like, I'm just so casually welcoming players from Clemson to Carolina. And it'd be strange if it was vice versa. It really would. And I mean, I'm happily will take them because we need good ball players. We need decent ball players at this point. We're losing half our lineup, but it's a very interesting time in the Carolina-Clemson baseball rivalry. Let's see. We actually got a text here from a former player's dad that I'm sure you probably know what I'm talking about. He said French and blank. I'm not going to say his name. Roommates in the Cape Cod League, played travel together, and went to numerous pro workouts together senior year of high school. I don't know if he's tuned in, but if you are, yes, he really did visit South Carolina. He tweeted today, and his location was Founders Park. So unless he's just trying to pull a fast one on us, I believe that was a real thing. So let's see. Yeah, the Kingston love is all over the timeline right now, all over the feed. The Kingston love. So many supporters. Hashtag extend Mark Kingston. Oh, yes. Yeah, trust me. There was nothing I loved more this past weekend than watching all the regionals with Carolina sitting their asses on the couch. So just nothing I loved more. You know what I mean? It was a blast. It was great. Thank God I've got we've got the SEC unfiltered stuff. So, but it still sucks. It still hurts. My boy P-Mod tuned in. Wish he could have came out tonight. Says he'll make it next week. Says Kingston's back. You might as well support him even if it's his last ride. P-Mod, you don't even believe that. Come on, bro. You don't even believe that. One last ride. I just have a picture of Kingston's face on it. God. You know, that's terrible, but that's so funny. One last ride for Marky Mark. Jesus. I mean, here's the thing. What's crazy is we're probably going to have the pitching. We'll probably have the pitching to make it happen. One last dance. Yeah, P-Mod, thank you, sir, for the super chat for the water. I appreciate that. Thank you. $1.99. It just says for water from P-Mod. Yeah. Love that. Beautiful stuff. Again, great night to have a night here at Tin Roof. Very excited to be out here. We got all the ball players in the building. We got Dalton in the building, Hayden's in the building. Tip your bartenders, take care of them. They do a great job. And we are peak off season right now with, like I said, baseball in the rear view for Gamecock fans. Football is too far out to really, we're going to start talking football the week of July 4th after the holiday. So for the next 3 weeks, we're just kind of shooting the shit and giving top 5 lists and talking jerseys and helmets. And top 5 Friday, we'll actually start talking players. So I think the Friday list will be top 5 quarterbacks, which will get very fun. Dude, I pissed off Twitter last year when I ranked Jake Bentley the 5th best all-time quarterback. You know why? I did that, though? Because I'm not going to spoil my list for Friday. I can't guarantee what it's going to be. I can't, I may change my mind. But it's when you look at his numbers, and it's like if he would have played his last year, if he would have been healthy, he'd own every record in the record books. Every single one of them. He'd own every record. So, okay, cool. Let's, when we hit 6:30, we'll take a 5-minute break and get up here. Then we're going to get Connor up here, and we're going to get Landon Powell to call in. That'll be our plan. So we'll take a break in 3 minutes. But no, I had Jake Bentley 5th, and I left off players like Anthony Wright, Phil Petty got pissed on social media last year because I left him off. My top 5 last year was Connor Shaw, Steven Garcia, Steve Tannehill, I think it was Tommy Suggs, and Jake Bentley. No Todd Ellis. I'm sorry. Somebody who threw 73 fucking interceptions does not belong in the top 5. I don't give a damn how many yards he threw for. The guy threw 73 picks. Great. Hey, I got nothing bad to say about Todd as a play-by-play guy. A lot of Gamecock fans don't like him. It is what it is. You know what I mean? I think he does. I love his passion. That's what makes him stand out. Now, if we're just grading Todd Ellis on a play-by-play scale, I don't think he's near the top. But on a Gamecock passion scale, he's the bee's knees, man. He's all that. You know what I mean? So, because you're kind of a Grinch if you hate Todd Ellis as the announcer. You know what I mean? Like that's just something real. That's a heck of a hill to die on. You know what I mean? Like just constantly, because there's people on social media that will constantly hate on Todd Ellis as the play-by-play guy. I'm like, you can't pick something else to bitch about. Just tweet at me. Talk shit about me. Don't talk shit about Todd Ellis. You know what I mean? So, social media, bro. That's like I said, we get to a point, baseball's over, football's far out, we get to June, and everybody, Gamecock people, Gamecock Nation, they need to flex their thumbs. And so, like, they will look for anything to go nuts about. And so I've been the topic of conversation this week. All I ask from people, by the way, moving forward, if you see me out and about and you see me at the bar, you see me at Chipotle, you see me at Publix, you see me at the gym, and you want to take an unsolicited photo, just tap me on the shoulder so I can smile and give you a thumbs up. I don't give a fuck if you want to talk shit. At least let me pose for the picture. That's all I'm asking. So, fucking slap dicks on Twitter. Anyways, all right, we'll go ahead and jump into a 5-minute break. We're going to get Connor on the other side. Landon Powell's on the other side. Stay tuned for that. A lot of exciting stuff upcoming. Okay. Yes, we're going to take a quick 5-minute, maybe less, and we will go from there. 843-790-3377, by the way, that is the number to call in. We are taking calls tonight. But 6:30 to 6:50, or probably we'll do 6:35 to 6:45 with Landon. Yeah, should be a good time. All right, back in 5. Appreciate y'all. Phil, hit the music. We're trying to be efficient with time here. Okay, cool. So we've got Connor on the stage, played at North Greenville. You said 15 to 18, right? Awesome. So we're going to get Landon Powell to call in. Like I said, former Gamecocks catcher, All-American, ho-hum, no big deal. Went to the College World Series. The head coach at North Greenville. Are they, make sure I get it right, are they a game away from the final, or are they in the final?
Yeah, game away, and then they would play in the championship
Don't be scared
series.
of it, my guy.
They're playing the championship series this
weekend,
Saturday through Sunday.
Gotcha. Okay, awesome. So we're gonna get him to call in. I might just let Connor do the interview. I mean, that's just, his former coach. Whatever.
Jeez.
Yeah, they should have a solid rapport. He didn't dislike you, did he? I mean,
no. Hope not. Probably so a little bit, Yeah.
Hey, you never know. You never know. Some guys, you just stand them, right? They're good players. You're like, all right, I'll just put up with you. But yeah, anyways, appreciate you taking the time, man. Like I said, it's cool what North Greenville is doing. I know this is a Gamecock show, but to highlight what North Greenville is doing, what so many great former Gamecocks are doing. It's not just Landon Powell. Matt Williams, who's a friend of the show, Trey Dyson, who's a friend of the show. Yeah, many others as well, players. All right, so I think this is probably him. Oh, God. Yo, Coach, Landon Powell, what's going on? How you doing? Hold on, we're going to turn on just a little bit. Coach Powell, you there?
I am. I'm here. Can you hear me?
All right. Yes, sir, we can hear you. Sorry, we had you blasting here in Tin Roof in the Vista. What's going on, man? Appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. We got one of your former players, Connor, here. Connor, take it away, my man.
What's up, Coach? You there?
What's up, CG?
What's up, man? How you doing? Hey, so go ahead and tell us a little bit about, what you guys are going through right now, the process, and, how it's been so far.
You broke up a little bit, CG. Say that again.
Yeah, so he was just asking about what you guys are going through right now. Obviously, you're in the World Series. What I think creeping up on winning a national title, man. What's that process been like? Obviously, that experience, the first time in school history.
Yeah, man. This has been a fun run for our guys. I mean, we've started practice back in August, and this was a goal of ours. Our program has been successful the last several years. Guys like Connor and all his teammates, they laid the foundation for this program that we have here now. And these guys know that they had the talent and had the roster that was capable of making a run and doing something special. So we've worked hard. We've put in the time. And then, for it all to culminate at this point and for us to be here on the main stage with an opportunity to accomplish our dreams, this has been pretty cool. So we're loving it. We're trying to have fun and enjoy it and soak up every moment. It's been a really fun couple weeks for our guys, and just really proud of my team, and grateful for the players and all the time and effort they put into it, but also grateful for guys like Connor and his teammates. I mean, this isn't something that happened overnight. North Greenville University was a cellar dweller in Division II baseball, 7-8 years ago, and this program was a complete overhaul. And Connor can kind of attest to that, like where it was and where it is. It's pretty incredible what's happened, and it's no accident. It took a lot of hard work and effort from players and coaches. And that's what makes this all more special.
Now, Coach, for those of us who haven't watched North Greenville baseball this season, at least to the level to understand your ball club, give us an idea. What's the dynamic? Are you pitching heavy, hitting heavy, a nice balance of both? What's been the key to you guys' success this season, would you say?
We're a pretty dynamic group. So we can – and this is kind of by design. I mean, I've been around the game a long time and played it at the highest level, and I've learned kind of the things that make teams really hard to beat. And, for me, when I played, I really – obviously the home run is a big piece of the game. So you want to have guys that can leave the yard and change the game with one swing. But also, for me as a catcher, speed was always something that really put a lot of pressure on our team. And whenever I was catching and having to worry about holding runners and, throwing out base runners and defending the bunt, and teams that would go first or third on singles and always seemed to have guys in scoring position, those were the hardest teams to compete against. They just never let up. It never felt like an easy inning or an easy out. So I wanted to develop that in our program. And, like the guy who's sitting right there, Connor Grantham, he was a 5-tool player. He could run. I mean, he was a 6'4" runner. I think he stole 20-plus bases every year at North Greenville. He also hit 10 home runs a year. I mean, he was a very dynamic player. So I got a bunch of Connors right now. I think we have 6 guys in our starting lineup that have 10-plus home runs, and I think we have 5 or 6 guys that have close to 20 stolen bases or something like that. So, we can really run. We can lead the yard once in a while, and that's helped us offensively. So pitching-wise, we've developed some guys that have great cutters, off speed. They can pitch backwards if need be. We're not a team that's going to run a bunch of 95, 96 mile per hour arms out there and just try to blow you away. I mean, we do have a couple velo guys, but our bread and butter have been guys that can keep you off balance, change your timing, locate on both sides of the plate. And the cutter is kind of that equalizer. My former assistant coach, John Kootlangas, who played at South Carolina with me and also played in the major leagues, he's no longer on my staff. He had to move back to Florida, but he was a wizard at teaching the cutter, and he passed that down to some of my other assistant coaches who now are still with me. And that's a secret ingredient, I believe, for our pitching staff. Most of our guys throw cutters, and it's a pitch that college hitters just are not good at adjusting to and aren't good at hitting. So that's really helped our pitching staff. And we've been able to do it on both sides of the ball this year.
Now, Coach, obviously you have college World Series experience with the Gamecocks going to Omaha back in the early 2000s. How do you feel like that experience has helped you in regards to letting your team know just how to prepare and how to approach, chasing after a national championship?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, my experience is being able to play in the College World Series 3 years in a row there, back in my time in South Carolina, but also my time playing in professional baseball and in the big leagues. All those things just kind of, it got me comfortable on a big stage. And that's important for me as a coach, that I can pay that forward and kind of pass down that same energy to my players to let them know that, man, the big stage is the place you should be the most comfortable. This is where you should let it loose and have fun. And, there's no stress. There's no nervousness. I mean, this is the time to let it loose and go. And I think my players have learned that and kind of responded to that. And, that's why they seem to be playing their best baseball when it matters most. And, I think some of that is just part of the everyday environment and culture that you create in your program. And we're a very competitive bunch. And I've said this a lot the last couple of days and other interviews and things, but we try to compete at everything we do. And Connor can tell you that. If Connor comes over to my house to hang out, which he's done plenty of times, and we play a game of ping pong or a game of horse, Connor knows I'm going to beat him. He knows I'm a competitor.
Okay.
And then I'm going to do everything I can to beat him. And he'll tell you the truth right now. I will whoop him in horse.
Okay.
Right? So, and I want players on my team that are the same way. They have that look in their eye. They're not willing to lose. Like, losing is not an option. And, I try to identify those guys in recruiting and fill my locker room full of guys that want to compete at no matter what it is. And, our first night in Cary, our players went out and bought a bunch of Nerf guns at Target. And they had a Nerf war all around the hotel in the parking lot. And you would have thought that they were competing for the World Series playing Nerf war. With guns. So that's how competitive our guys are. It's just part of our everyday fabric and like how we are. It's our culture. And I think that also prepares us for the big stage. These are the things we get excited for. We would much rather be playing a top-ranked team that's a great opponent than play a team that we know we're going to beat by 10. I mean, those games aren't fun. The teams that when you know you're going to roll them. Like when I played at South Carolina, when we played Wofford or Furman or Charleston Southern midweek, those games weren't even fun. We knew we were going to kill them. And we got more excited for Florida and, Mississippi State, and those are the games we wanted to play. So I think our guys here have that same mentality.
Now, Coach, you got some goons on that coaching staff, man. Matt Williams, Trey Dyson, friends of our show here. I'll ask you, what's it been like working with them? I know they're great people. Trey, it's hilarious following him on social media and the way he operates y'all's account. And he's done a great job, by the way, of helping to spread awareness to the brand that is North Greenville baseball. But what's it been like? How cool has it been, I guess? You mentioned working with former teammates and stuff like that. How cool has it been having that Gamecock connection at North Greenville, pulling some of those guys who did so well at the University of South Carolina, and now they're positively impacting your program?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I treat my coaching staff like, that's my inner circle. That's my family. Those are the people I need to trust the most in my life. And, when it comes to my job in baseball. So Trey's the guy that's been a friend of mine since we were, 18 years old. And we've been through a lot of things in life together in sports, and I've known him a long time. So I know I trust him. I know he's got my back, and I got his. And that's a very important piece of having someone like that on your coaching staff. And he's tremendous with the players. He reminds me so much of Coach Toman, who coached us in college. Trey's a little bit of a goofball. He is hilarious. He keeps a very light atmosphere. He's really good at what he calls easing the tension. Like Chubbs and Happy Gilmore says, ease the tension, baby. That's Trey Dyson. That's how he is. He keeps things loose. He's also done a great job with our hitters, and he's done a great job with our first baseman. And like you mentioned, our social media has been on point since he's been here. So Matt Williams, another Gamecock. Matt and I didn't know Matt really well prior to hiring him. I really just hired him because he was a Gamecock and because he was trying to get into coaching, and I had an opportunity for a grad assistant. So he came and got his master's. Matt and I have come really close the last couple of years. He actually coaches my son's travel baseball team, and my son loves him to death. And Matt's developed great relationships with those younger boys that he coaches. And he's been a big asset for our team at North Greenville. He works with hitters as well as infielders. He does a lot of charting in the dugout, stands next to me every pitch, and we talk the entire game. He gives me times from pitchers to the plate, and I decide my running game based off of things that he's telling me. Matt and I have become very close, and I love working with him. And it's great to have Gamecocks on the staff. And I'm a Gamecock at heart. I believe in Garnet, and I want to have those kind of guys in my corner because I know that they feel the same way I do about success and winning, and they came from a similar type culture that I did playing in college. And that's what I'm trying to build here at North Greenville. So,
now, Coach, before we get you out of here, because I know obviously you're tight on time, got a lot of interviews this time of year, which is a good thing. But let's address the elephant in the room. I'm going to put you in the spot. Let's just play the hypothetical game, whether it be next year, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, what have you. If the job were to open up in Columbia at the University of South Carolina, your overall thoughts, again, it's all hypothetical, but would you consider coming back to Columbia and taking over as the head coach?
Yeah, I don't think there's any secret about that. I've made that clear before. I've mentioned to Coach Kingston I'd be interested if he had a spot on his staff. I've mentioned to Coach Tanner that I would always love to come home. I tell recruits when they come on recruiting visits to talk to me, and they ask me, are you going to leave to take another job? Here recently, the last couple of weeks, I've been getting a lot of recruits asking me about the Clemson job because I guess my name's being thrown in that a little bit. So I've made it very clear that I'm not going anywhere except if it's the University of South Carolina. I love Greenville. I enjoy coaching at North Greenville. My wife's born and raised here. Our families, like my in-laws and nieces and nephews, all live in Greenville. I have no reason to leave the city of Greenville. The only place I would leave for would be to go back home to South Carolina and have an opportunity to coach there in Columbia. And there's no secrets about that. And I don't, I say that. I want to make that clear that I don't mean like taking Coach Kingston's job. I fully support him. He's the coach of our team right now. I still pull for that program. I pull for Coach Kingston. I want that Gamecock team to get back to the greatness it's been. And I'd love to have a piece in that somehow, some way. But I don't have control over those things. I can only worry about where my feet are. And right now I'm in Tigerville, South Carolina, trying to do the best thing I can for these guys. The players I've been coaching here, they've poured their blood, sweat, and tears into this program, and they've given me everything they can. And that's my goal, to give them everything I can until this season's done or until my time in North Greenville's done. And that, who knows, man? I might be at North Greenville the next 20 years of my life, and I'm perfectly okay with that if that's what happens. And like I said, the only place I really would leave would be for Columbia. I love to coach. I love making impacts on players' lives. I think a guy like Connor can kind of attest to that. Like, it's more than just wins and losses. Like, I love building relationships with these players. I love paying forward the things that were done for me in my career and trying to pay that forward to the next generation. It doesn't, for me, it does not have to be on the big stage like Columbia or in the SEC or in those kind of things. I feel like I can make an impact anywhere I'm coaching. And in the last several years, that's been at North Greenville University. And I think this is a perfect niche and a perfect place for me to make an impact. I feel like it's been needed. And I plan on doing that the best of my ability as long as I'm allowed.
Coach, this has been incredible, man. Truly, we appreciate you taking the time. Again, I know you got more interviews coming up and stuff. I want to say first things first, I speak for all Gamecocks, and I say it was a pleasure to watch you wear the garnet and black and also to watch your professional career as well, and obviously all the success you've had at NGU leading that program. It's been awesome, man, and we wish you all the best. When do you guys – let everybody know, when do you guys play? I apologize. I haven't looked at the schedule. What's the upcoming schedule for you guys, and how many wins away are you from the national title?
Well, we play so we had today off, and we're in the winners bracket. We're 2-0. So Westchester just knocked off Angelo State about an hour and a half ago.
Okay.
So now Angelo State is out of the tournament. We now play Westchester tomorrow. They would have to beat us twice to advance. We have to beat them once to advance to the national championship. So we'll play Westchester tomorrow, which is Thursday at 6 p.m. And if we win that, we move on to the national championship game, which is a best-of-3 series.
Okay.
If we were to lose tomorrow to Westchester, we would turn around and play them again on Friday, and the winner of that would go to the national championship. So that's kind of the schedule here coming up. And I appreciate your kind words about my playing career in South Carolina and those things. I want you to know, and all those listeners listening, it was some of the best years of my life. I loved playing in South Carolina. I loved the fan base. I to this day, I believe Gamecock fans are the best in the country, and I've said that ever since I left that place to go on and play professionally or whatever. I've always said you guys have no clue how the fans in South Carolina care about their sports and care about baseball. They're truly the best fans in the country, and I will always cherish my time there. It was a great 4-year experience. I met my wife there. I made lifelong friends. I made lifelong memories, and it definitely shaped and molded me as a person. So I'm grateful for it.
Coach, man, we appreciate it. Again, wishing you guys best of luck the rest of the way out. Bring home that hardware, man. Again, thanks for taking the time, Coach.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me on, and CG, you take care, buddy. Love you.
You too, Coach.
Appreciate you, Coach. Dude, that was incredible. That was awesome. How about Landon Powell? I know he's not here, but I'm just like, good, very, very well done, Coach Powell. That's why you tune in. That's why you come out to Tin Roof, because ain't nobody else asked him about the Carolina job until just now. He take it. That's all you got to hear. That's it. We're going to keep you up here, my guy. Sorry about, I don't know, maybe I don't know what was going on with the mic, whatever. Bro, that hurt. That hurt when he called in. That hurt. That hurt. Dude, that was incredible. Yeah, Landon's awesome. I mean, also, too, there's so many other questions I want to ask him. Like, I don't know if people remember this. He caught a perfect game. Dallas Braden's perfect game for the Athletics. Probably, what was that, was that 10 years ago? Was that long ago?
Longer than that.
10. Wow. God. Okay. But either way, I mean, not many people can say they caught a perfect game. Big league career, playing at South Carolina for Ray 10, all those College World Series. I'll ask you your experience playing for Coach Powell. Just what is he like as a coach? We all recall him as a player, but as a coach, what makes him stand out?
Well, I mean, he allows you to come in right away, be able to do what you want to do as a player. You come in, you do well on and off the field. He gives you the freedom to, be yourself. And a lot of schools you go to and you play at, it's very stressful and hard because you always feel like you have someone riding your tail every day, and he just allows you to have fun, and that's how the game should be played. Yeah,
it's not like a micromanaging environment. It's more of a
not at all.
Yeah, professional type.
He runs it like a minor league system.
Yeah.
Practice, leading up the games. It keeps it short and easy. Doesn't wear you out. Just allows you to withstand through the season.
Now, did you go there out of high school, or were you somebody that went from like JUCO or D1
I went to college at Charleston out of high school and then transferred.
Okay.
Transferred in.
Where'd you go to high school at?
Blythewood.
Blythewood, okay. I'm North Augusta guy, so
Okay.
that's why I'm picking your brain a little bit.
No, you're fine.
I'm trying to think if there's anybody I played with or against who went to Blythewood. I don't think so. Either way, great baseball program though. So did you? Let me see. When were you at CFC?
CFC 2015 to 2016.
Okay, 15. So you might know of him. Marty Gant that played there.
Marty Gant, yeah.
Yeah. So he was a high school teammate of mine. Awesome dude, legend, just absolute legend. Played in the minors for a while. So talking about Landon Powell's success again at NGU, what do you feel like specifically? I mean, you mentioned how he is as a coach, but I mean, there's a lot that goes into it: recruiting, selling the program, things that make him stand out. As what would you attribute a lot of his success to in regards to building that program up? I mean, because it just feels like North Greenville just kind of just came out of nowhere. You know what I mean? It's all
Well,
of a sudden the
he
best. Me too.
he does a really good job of developing players. You know, you have all these kids that their lifelong dream is to play baseball at the professional level, and you know, he gives you that opportunity. He comes in, he develops you, he gets you in front of the right people see you, and you know, some people it leads to getting drafted and leads to the right direction.
Yeah.
And if not, you had a good career and you tried, you know.
Yeah.
So he does everything he can. He'll always put you out there. He'll push you when you need to be pushed, and he'll let you be when you need to be. So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, he does a great job. And I think if he could bring over what he's done there to here, I think the Gamecocks would have a lot of success.
Yeah, and I was talking to some people, by the way, before we went live too, and I don't remember who it was, but just talking about, oh, you know, it's D2 this, and I mean, I know you can attest, and I played at Newberry.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, I got my tits ripped. I wasn't all that great, but I played at the D2. There are some very good baseball players at Division II. Just because you don't go D1 doesn't mean
anything. I mean,
means nothing.
baseball is baseball, regardless.
Right,
Wherever
right.
you go, you're going to see guys throwing 95, 100 in Division II baseball. You're going to see guys doing that at Division I level.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. You know, if you're good enough, the right people will find you. They'll see you, and that's what I tell kids all the time. I'm like, it doesn't matter if you go Division I. That's all I wanted to do as a child. But after playing at a Division II, I enjoyed my time at North Greenville more than I did at college at Charleston 10 times out of 10.
Yeah.
And I would never regret my decision one bit.
Yeah, and that's what I tell fans too when you see people hit the transfer portal out of South Carolina and just others. It's just, because again, like you said, you can play JUCO, NAIA, D1, 2, 3. It doesn't matter. If you can play, and they'll find you. So,
and that's the crazy thing to me is the way the transfer portal is now is where you can go Division I to Division I right away.
Yeah.
He's now losing some of the Division I transfers that he would get to come in and play right away, but he's still having the same amount of success with high school kids. So it shows you the question is he just getting these guys that are Division I transfers and that's why they're good? Well, no. Now he's got high school kids coming in and those guys are producing. So it shows you he can also recruit, not just rely on kids transferring schools.
Yeah, and I know we just talked about it before we get you out here, my guy. I know we just talked about it, off air, but you made it very clear to me that if Landon Powell, and he just mentioned it obviously, but if South Carolina seriously approached him for the head coaching job, he would snatch it up. Is what you think?
I mean, why would you not?
Yeah.
I mean, it's
good point. That's how we view it, at least. That's how we view it. So, Connor, it's been a pleasure, man. I felt like I saw you blushing a little bit when Landon was talking about you being a 5-tool player. I was like, this is impressive. This is impressive. Yeah, this is something. Giving you a lot of hype, my friend. So
he's a good guy. He means well. At the end of the day, all I did was keep my head down and I played. So, what I did was what I did. I enjoyed my time playing the game, college, professionally, and I would never look back. But he definitely had a big part of my life and helped me get to where I am today. So,
Well, Connor, from ball player to ball player, much love, my friend. Appreciate you. It was a pleasure talking with you. We'll jump into a 5-minute break, but on to the side, we'll keep taking your questions, comments, and calls as well. Sound guy Phil, send us into it, babe. All right, Phil. Appreciate you, my guy. All right, cool. We are back taking your questions, comments again for the first time ever here at Tin Roof, taking calls too. I can't believe it took me a year to figure out that was possible, but either way, here we are. We're not a tech company. We are I don't know. We're media. Media. By the way, let's shout out Tin Roof. Go vote Tin Roof in the free times, right? Best bar, is that right? Best bar, right? I'm looking at Tal and asking, best bar? Best college bar and best dance bar. It's got to be Shag Night that puts you over the top. For best nightlife, too. Go vote Tin Roof in all the free times polls or whatever. Obviously, the Spurs Up show is not including any of that bullshit when it comes. Best local tweeter. I can't even get that. I can't even get nominated for it. Our Twitter's insane. Whatever. It is what it is. Interesting topic of conversation. Fire away. Well, Tennessee's a given. Dalton's favorite team. My Omaha 8, I will give you. I will give you my Omaha 8 because that's actually tomorrow's podcast on SEC Unfiltered. So I've got my Omaha 8. Let's see. I do have in the Tennessee Notre Dame Super, I've got Tennessee. I think that one's really intriguing because Notre Dame won their regional with pitching. Tennessee obviously smashes the baseball. I just think at home, though, I will be shocked if Tennessee loses. I don't think they will. I think they come out of that one. I got East Carolina beating Texas. At home, Cliff Godwin finally gets to Omaha. I think ECU. I'm going through it. I got Texas A&M taking down Louisville. I think they get the job done at Bluebell. Give me Schloss or give me death. I've got Virginia Tech beating Oklahoma. I think it's the Hokies' year, man, at least to get to Omaha. They've had a magical run, magical season. I've then got Stanford beating UConn. You know, it was a scary regional for them. I do think they find a way to navigate it through. Though I like their ball club. UConn took down Maryland, but I think Stanford will get the better of them. Maybe one of the most intriguing supers to me, UNC and Arkansas. I think Arkansas is the most dangerous team. Like underrated, just sleeping on them. Bro, they were number 1 at one point. Like they're really good. Arkansas is really, really good. But I picked UNC to go to Omaha before it all started. I picked UNC to be in the national championship. So I got to go with UNC. I can't go back on my original picks, I feel like. So I got North Carolina. That one's going to be fun, though. Ole Miss, Southern Miss. Bro, give me the Golden Eagles. In Hattiesburg, they already beat one SEC team. Ole Miss, last team in the field. Nice story. Bro, the hottest regional ticket you can find. I think Southern Miss will get it done. I think they advance to Omaha, which will be crazy. Got Ole Miss, that's fine. What you got? You taking you're gambling on it, I'd assume, right? Okay, all right. You're going to take the road team in Game 3. All right. Okay. I thought LSU had more talent too, though. Right? Just saying. Right. Yeah. Yeah. And then finally, I have got Oregon State taking out Auburn. I just don't like the road trip to Corvallis. I don't like the road trip to Corvallis. I don't know. I like State. Auburn's a good team. I got Oregon State, though. Auburn is hot. But I got Tennessee, ECU, A&M, Va-Tech, Stanford, UNC, Southern Miss, and Oregon State as my Omaha 8. Those are my 8 I see in Omaha. My boy P-Mod was suggesting questions for Landon Powell. We only had about 15 minutes with him, so I was trying to fire those away as quickly as I could. Again, thank you so much for Connor taking the time, jumping up on the stage, setting that up. That's incredible. Thanks to Talon for setting that up. Golden content. Again, nobody else out there, and this isn't like a flex necessarily. It's just reality. Nobody else has had the opportunity to really, I think, on the Gamecock side, ask him about that opportunity, ask him about the Gamecocks job. And so to hear him say, you know, he'd take it. Flat out, he'd just take it. I mean, I don't even think it'd be a decision he'd have to make. It's just, I'm gone. Is South Carolina willing to give him a shot? You know, you think so? Do you think it's dangerous to fall into? Do you think it's dangerous to fall into not a trap, but fall into a habit of just hiring guys just because they played at Carolina? Like B.J. Mackey, I could argue B.J. Mackey's no more qualified than Lamont Paris. No more qualified. I don't even think Mackey's been a head coach, has he? So, I mean, he's less qualified. But we're just going to give him the nod because he played at South Carolina? I mean, you see what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying it's wrong. Hey, it's working out great with Beamer. I'm just saying that you have to consider those things. Baseball is still seen as elite, in my opinion. Right. Mm-hmm. Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I hear you. I think on the baseball side, it's just can't have another miss. Just can't have another miss, man. You just can't. So I'm not saying, it's a risk no matter what. Anytime you hire a new coach, but like I think A&M hiring Schloss, that was an incredible hire, dude. Incredible hire. And they're reaping the benefits. They are reaping the benefits of it. So either way, though, it's all hypothetical. So because Kingston's back, so what difference does it make? He's back. Kingston's back. Yeah, I think he's got to at minimum make it to a super because if he doesn't, then that means one of two things happen. South Carolina either back their way. I mean, I hate to say this, they back their way in the postseason. And they're going to be a 2 seed or a 3 seed or whatever, traveling somewhere, and they lost. Which there's no way that can be defined as a successful year. Or, which might be even worse, they'll host a regional and lose their own regional. I don't even know which one of those two options is worse. So neither of those you can look at and say, well, that was a successful year. They've got to at minimum. But for me, the wins and losses are important. They're very important. But if you win 34 games and you go 16-14 in the league, but you hit 255, you're just not addressing the problem. You got to hit. I mean, you can get all upset as upset as you want. You can talk injuries all you want. Injuries is not why you hit 260. I mean, it's just not like. Right, you're scoring runs. Everybody's scoring runs. The offenses are through the roof. The baseballs are juiced, whatever you want to say, but you got to score runs. You're not winning games 2-1, 3-2. I mean, runs. Yeah, offense is fun. It's fun and easy to score runs. You should be able to score runs at a very high level, very high level. So, I mean, listen, hitting a baseball is the hardest. You could argue it's the hardest thing in sport, but you got to be able to hit at the college level to win. I mean, you got to. I feel like that's so obvious, but listening to Landon Powell say, we knew in the midweek we were going to beat those teams by 10 runs. We knew we were going to beat up on them. I said, wow, how times have changed. Losing to Upstate, Citadel, Xavier, Presbyterian. How times have changed, bro, because, I mean, can't happen. It just can't happen. It just can't happen. So, hey, it's it. We know what has to be done. We know what I think everybody understands what the expectations have got to be for next year. That's it. I mean, it's just. Yeah, I was going to say I don't think Tanner hires the next baseball coach. I'd be shocked if he's the AD this time next year. Well, for the Carolina fan base and their happiness, I think it's a good thing because, I mean, again, what is it like in politics? They run like approval ratings or whatever of the president. Like if we ran an approval rating of Ray Tanner, oh my God. I mean, it would be ugly. And I love Ray. Like, I mean, that's why you don't hear me on a consistent basis leading the fire Ray Tanner train, because like I love what Ray did on the baseball diamond. I think he deserves a statue outside of Founders. I mean, he built Carolina baseball. He built it. And I will say, I don't buy this foolish, silly, stupid narrative that Ray Tanner in some twisted way is trying to destroy the thing he built or doesn't want anybody to do better than him. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous to say. It's ridiculous, and it's absurd. But, I mean, he's getting older. There's a lot of smoke right now, a lot of rumors. It would not shock me at all if he stepped down. But would it be a good thing or a bad thing? I guess it'd be a good thing, What's crazy is even after everything that's happened under Tanner with coaching hires and coaching searches, it's like going back to a toxic ex. Like, I'd still let him pick a baseball coach because in my mind, I'm like, he should be able to pick one. He knows what good baseball looks like. I'd still be I'd still say, I'm not saying I would I'm vouching for that, but I'm just saying that there are worse people, there are less qualified people to pick a baseball coach. You can't argue Ray Tanner don't know baseball. You can't argue that. You're not going to win that argument, right? So it's the negotiating side he stinks at. It's that side of it. Is he a closer? I think Sean Miller would be here if that were the case. So William Yeck says, what if Kingston goes to the College World Series next year? Is he still fired? No, he's back. You don't fire a coach who goes to the College World Series because you'll never be able to sell the job to anybody. Like, what are the expectations? You go to the College World Series and you can't keep a job in Columbia? There's no way you could fire him. You just couldn't. You couldn't. Right. The chances are slim to none. No offense. It's just reality, slim to none. But if it happened, no, he's back. Absolutely. And I don't feel like I should have to say this, but again, the slapdicks of Twitter and the brain dead, anonymous 17 numbers in their username people on Twitter, they can't 2 + 2 = 4. The math doesn't math for them. Those people, you know what I'm talking about? They don't have the kahunas to stand behind their word on social media. Those people, right? Take all the personal shots. They think if you call for a coach's job, you want him to lose. Everybody wants to see us go to the College World Series. There's nobody that doesn't want that. I want Kingston to show next year he's the guy and we go win the College World Series and, hey, he's the coach for the next 10 years. I said the same thing about Muschamp. I hope he's the coach in a decade because that means we won. And Martin. Everybody wanted him. I would have, I don't really care who the coach is, the quarterback, the starting pitcher, the point guard. I don't care who the AD is. I just want to win. We all just want to win. That's it. That's it. And I'm sorry, but when you're getting paid millions and millions and the almighty dollar talks and you don't win, you're just not going to be employed very long. I'm sorry. You're just not. You're just not. You're just not. Right. Right. It's really competitive. It's really tough. And so, I mean, the South Carolina job is a very sought after job, And I'm saying, in baseball, that's what I'm talking about. In baseball, it's a very sought after job. There's people that would crawl to Columbia for that job. So, again, in case you missed the conversation we just had with Landon Powell, I am going to clip that. And somebody said, no way it's true. It's like we have the audio. Because I just tweeted he would take the job. We'll have that full conversation on the podcast on Friday. I will probably I'll clip up some stuff. I don't know. Maybe we'll just wait till Friday to post those clips and everything. But we'll have a lot of content on Friday from this conversation with Powell. So if you missed it, don't worry. I'll have it on the podcast. Luke RJ says if Kingston goes to the College World Series next season, the tattoo watch is back on. I'm fine with that. I'm also not going to make a bet that I'm going to lose. So I'm just not. I don't want to get a tattoo personally. So I'm not going to make a bet I don't want to lose, or make a bet that I'm going to lose. Let's see. Again, we are taking your questions, comments, and your calls. We have the ability finally. I don't know. I just did not ask and did not didn't think to ask. I don't know. Anyways, we are in the midst of the quote-unquote off-season, talking about stuff like jerseys and helmets and top 5 lists and ranking everything and all that good stuff. So yeah. What's up? Disagreement with what?
It seems that a lot of people are on board with the 3-7 scheduling format. I personally think they're the 3-6.
Yeah, 3-6 scheduling format versus the 1.
I like the 1-7 better.
Right.
The reason being is because I think it makes the season more fun whenever you rotate through more teams, and also it would take away one of those conferences.
More fun when you rotate through more teams. But what about all the rivalries that are lost, the yearly rivalries? Think about a team like Georgia, who they would no longer play Auburn every year. Who would be their permanent? Florida, right? I mean, it have to be. So they're no longer playing Auburn every year. They're no longer playing Tennessee every year. I mean, I'm just saying there's some games that I think, don't you think, that need to be played on a yearly basis? I mean, we're Gamecocks, so maybe it doesn't apply to us. Like, is there more than one SEC game? South Carolina, Georgia be the one. Are there any other games on the schedule from the SEC teams that you feel like they need to be played on a yearly basis? I guess you'd probably say no, because we don't really have like a real die-hard rivalry with anybody else outside of Clemson and Georgia. I mean, some people will consider Florida a rival, Tennessee but they're not. They're not like really, truly rivals. They're SEC East rivals. We hate them. Dalton hates them, but you wouldn't consider it a rivalry game. Like if you're looking up what's the best rivalries in college football, where does South Carolina, Tennessee sit? I mean, it's not even like a rivalry. So I guess for us it wouldn't affect us, but I just think about, Auburn, Georgia wouldn't be played every year. There's some games you'd lose that wouldn't be played every year. Right.
Having to play like nearly impossible to beat competition for most of their games. Like every single year on our schedule, you can mark Georgia down on 9-0, Florida most of the time on 9-0, Clemson most of the time on 9-0.
So how's 1-7 solving that? Because you just randomize the schedule up.
Yeah, because
So
you're rotating through teams.
so instead of Florida, we probably have to play Alabama. I mean, do you think there should be 8-game or 9-game conference schedule? 8. I don't mind 9. Doesn't bother me. Dude, especially when you had Texas and OU. I mean, I wouldn't. Dude, the schedule's hard no matter what. The schedule's hard. I know some schedules. I mean, listen, our schedule, you got to play Clemson every year. That's why it's like, do you really want to have to play a North Carolina or Virginia Tech with these out-of-conference games? The schedule's hard enough. Just the SEC schedule alone is a gauntlet, So it's like, do you really want to beef it up even more? Do you need to toughen it up even more? So, yeah. Well, I mean, how about we just make our 3 permanent opponents, I don't know, Vandy, Mississippi State, and Mizzou? I don't know. I mean, let's do it. Why not? Just 3 kick-ins every year. Cool. Why not? I'm game. No, I'd say our 3 permanents, a fair 3 permanents would be Georgia. I think just like Georgia, Tennessee, Kentucky. But see, I look at Kentucky as like we should be beating them, but, Okay. How about, okay. That's fine. Can we just get A&M off the schedule? Please? Please. Like, I'm waving the white flag. You know what, A&M? I'm waving the white flag to you. I don't need you to prove to me anymore that you are a better team, better program, anything than South Carolina. I'm sorry. If that sounds defeatist, But, bro, how many times do we need to get our brains beat in by Texas A&M for them to make the point? Like, maybe it's the upset. Maybe this is the year. Maybe this is the year, but, God, I'm so tired of getting just crushed by them. Dude, the games haven't even close. They hadn't even close. Dude, think about it. I mean, I was there in 18. That one was fairly close. 17, we probably should have beaten them. 16, I was there for that one. That was A.J. Turner on the first play of the game, 75-yard touchdown. Played them tough. I wouldn't say it was a close game. Played them tough. 15, Perry Orth game where he ran for like a 68-yard rush or whatever. Played them tough. 14, blowout. Kenny Trill, I was there. But, yeah, I mean, dude, 19, 20, and 21. Dude, the combined 3 scores of those games looks like I don't even know. What's the advantages? Carolina, Texas A&M, what's the advantages for USC? Mm-hmm.
And the third thing is, a lot of their guys are freshmen. So while they did have,
I was going to say, a lot of their guys are freshmen from the best recruiting class in the history of college football. I mean, right, for sure. So the combined scores of the last 3 games against A&M, 132 to 23. 132 to 23 is the combined scores of the last 3 matchups. That is insane, bro. Right. But, hey, I guess they come off a bye week too, but we come off a bye week. Hey, give yourself time to prepare. I mean, that could be one of those games where Spencer Rattler has a Steven Garcia-esque against Bama type performance. You know, he plays out of his mind, if you will, and but I think it's a game, unfortunately, where if A&M plays their A game, we don't have a chance. Like it's going to take them not being at their best. We got to be at our best, and let's see what happens from there. And I'm not trying to, I think we have a chance to go 8-4 this year, but we're not on the level of A&M. We're not on the talent level of A&M. I mean, dude, you talk about pressure. There's a lot of pressure on A&M. It's put up or shut up for A&M. I mean, it's if you go 8-4 again, like all this preseason hype they get. Dude, I picked A&M last year to go 11-1. I picked them to go 11-1. Bama, and they end up beating Bama, and they still go 8-4. What are they're the kings of 8-4. I don't know. Dude, I wish we were the kings of 8-4. I'd love that. Dude, like I told you, I'd sign up for 8-4 in a heartbeat. Gladly. I'd be giddy to go 8-4. So, Brian Dean comments. Here we go. The juices are flowing on a Wednesday night. The lattes are pouring. South Carolina had a revolving door at quarterback in 21. In 2022, we have stability at QB and Rattler. And in South Carolina, we have a team who wants to be competing for the SEC title year in and year out. So, Brian, what are you saying? Everybody wants to win. And guess what? And that's great. No, that's great. The culture in the building is great. Just try to not get carried away with preseason talk. And, I mean, it's great to be excited. I love hype and expectations because it means you've got a team worth being hyped and excited about. But Shane Beamer's got the Welcome Home tour. Kentucky's got the Go Cats tour. Georgia's got the Go Dogs tour. And so on and so forth. All of these coaches are saying the same thing. Well, we really feel like we got a good team this year, and we got experience here, and we're working on depth here, but, we got a good team. Like, they're all saying the same shit, bro. Like, what I'm saying? Which is fine. It's coach speak, but let's just let's give Beamer time. It's just year 2. That's it. I know a lot of fans have been irked over Lindy's and Athlon has the Gamecocks finishing 5th in the East. Dude, Kentucky's getting a lot of love. Hey, you're a gambling man. Over-under's 8 on Kentucky. I'm just saying it's 8. You're betting the over on Carolina, I'd imagine, right?
Well, it's 7.5. So
Where? Where are you seeing 7.5?
in my book, it's 7.5.
Oh, I've seen it at 5.5.
If it was 5.5, that's an
If it's at 5.5, I can confidently say you should bet everything you can afford to lose.
on my book, it was 7.5. So I mean,
Yeah, I wouldn't touch. I think if I was making the line, my perfect number to get even money on both sides, I think would be 6.5. And the reason is I just don't think at 7.5 you're going to get many overs. I don't think many folks are going to bet the over. I think 6.5, you'll have an even split of people that are like, that's still disrespectful, too low. This team's going 7-5. Because I think the two most popular record predictions for Carolina will be 6-6 and 7-5. You'll see some 8-4s for sure, but I think 7-5 is about where you're going to see the predictions land. So I think 6.5 would be a perfect number. So, I mean, I think Gamecock fans are going to hammer that over, but I think national people that bet college football, I think a lot of folks will still say, 6-6.
I think Florida's being overhyped, though. I mean, there should be no reason why we can't go to Gainesville and win that game.
Yeah. Overhyped. Florida's overhyped. Florida's intriguing. They are. They're intriguing. I think they still got talent, but a first-year coach, it's still Florida. But I don't just check that Florida game and the Swamp off as, well, kick and win. Florida sucks.
No, it's not going to be a huge game.
Right.
But if we play how we're supposed to, there's no reason why we shouldn't at least win the game.
Right.
Not saying that we won't cover, because I think we'll be favored by
You think Carolina's favored over Florida?
by maybe a field goal.
Well, I think there's a lot of season to play to that point, so it'll depend. What do you think? Do you think Carolina's favored today?
I do.
I'd love to know the line.
I think that there's so many question marks about Florida's roster
Yeah.
that it's hard to make them the favorite. I think it's going to be a low. The spread's going to be low because they're playing at home.
Are you taking the 11 against Georgia State?
Yes.
Minus 11. Yeah. That one shocked me. I was a bit surprised at that spread. I really thought it'd be at like 19, 20. Which now that I think about it, it's like, Georgia State's a good club. This is not. This is going to be. There will be moments in this ball game we will sweat. There's no doubt. There's no doubt there will be moments in this ball game we will sweat. But Carolina should win the game. They should win by 2 touchdowns. I mean, am I crazy for saying that? They should win the game by 2 touchdowns. There's no doubt in my mind. So.
And then Mizzou's higher. I think the only other teams that they didn't rank higher than us were Mizzou and Dayton.
Yeah.
It's like,
Well, I mean, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Travi comments. I mean, you lost to Mizzou and Kentucky last year, and you should have lost to Vanderbilt. Think about that. Think of how close you were to losing to Mizzou, Kentucky, and Vandy in the same year.
do you think Vanderbilt's home field advantage matters at all?
What home field advantage?
Do they have it?
Right. I mean, no, I think, again, what I said, I think the biggest the difference you'll see this year, I mean, this is just a way too early prediction, but I think it's about, we may only win one more game than we won last year in the regular season. But like I said, it's the way you win. You know what I mean? It's because here's the thing. We're all happy right now, happy-go-lucky about the season. Oh, it was a great year one for Beamer, and this, we had a great first year. He did a great job, and the sky's the limit, and we all that good stuff. After the Clemson loss, there were a lot of people that did not feel great about the 2021 season because it felt like, okay, yeah, you went 6-6, you got to a bowl game, but like you rode good fortune. Incredibly good fortune to get there. I mean, let's call a spade, right? Now, granted, you could have won 2 more. You could have beaten Mizzou. You could have beaten Kentucky. You could have is there another one? You could have beaten I know it's hard for me, though, to play the hypothetical. Well, if you just erase the first half, like, I mean, But the first half was played. Like it's just like, I get what you're saying though. But we could have won 9 games, but we also could have easily won 4. You know what I mean? And so the UNC win, I mean, that's the impact of a bowl game. You get a win in a bowl game. It's when you win your last game of the season, you got something great, something to feel great about. But that 6-6 didn't quite have the satisfaction that people wanted when it's like, well, God, you beat ECU by a last-second field goal. You skated by Troy and beat them by single digits. You needed Colonel Zeb to have lead an improbable comeback to beat Vanderbilt by a point. This year, yeah, the doors are tough. Don't sleep on the doors. But this year, if you go 7-5, you only win one more game. Hell, I'd even say if you went 6-6. But you beat the brakes off Georgia State, Charlotte, SC State. You beat Vandy by 21. You are competitive in the big games. I think it'll feel different.
I think if we beat Arkansas week 2, if we go to Fayetteville and we come out with a win,
If you beat Arkansas week 2, okay. Well, right. Well, I mean, and I'm not saying the expectations are all the way down here. I think the expectations are fairly realistic. 7-5. Yeah, but if you beat Arkansas, well, I'm gonna be like, you at minimum better finish 7-5. I mean, it'd be a disappointment to not go 7-5 at minimum, right? Because you just set yourself up so well. And that's like Jeff O'Hara, my boy Cox by 90. He was talking about starting 3-0. Beat Georgia. I posed the hypothetical. If you start 3-0, if you go less than 8-4, I mean, it's a terrible year because you set yourself up. You got to go 9-3 at that point. You have to. I'll still say you lose to A&M. If you beat Georgia, you should be good enough to give Clemson hell. Well, you got to lose a game. You're not going undefeated, Dalton. You're not going undefeated. So if you did start 3-0 though, but you still got it. We're not going 12-0. Who are you going to lose to? What would be the Gamecock thing to do is beat Georgia, beat Charlotte and SC State, start 5-0, then go lose to Kentucky and Lexington. That would be the Gamecock. I'd be like, there they are. There's those Gamecocks. There they are. Or inexplicably, drop the game at Florida. If you start 3-0, I'd imagine you get to that Florida game. You're probably sitting at what? 7-2 probably. Worst case, 7-2. You probably come in that game and then lose to Florida. It's like, damn. So. Oh, dude, I would be too. I'd be elated. I mean, I think at minimum that game has SEC Nation. I think at minimum. I'd be shocked if it didn't. And I hope it does because SEC Nation was really dope when they came to town last year. Yeah, it was really dope when they came to town. Yeah. Yeah, what's so interesting too about the schedule this year is the way it breaks up. You got 6 games, bye week, 6 games, which plays beautifully for my content, by the way, because when I drop my predictions, it's a 2-part. I'll do it in 2 parts. So part 1, first 6 games, part 2, last 6, and it'll be the full predictions. Maybe I'll make this content for tomorrow on social media because my question to fans would be this. And you notice probably too, I make a lot of content where I'm like asking questions to the fan base because I'm like, I can listen to myself talk all day, but I want to hear what y'all think, right? Your first 6 games are Georgia State, Arkansas, Georgia, Charlotte, SC State, Kentucky. What record would you deem a successful record after the first 6? Again, you got 3 games that should be wins in Georgia State, Charlotte, SC State. Then you got Arkansas, Georgia, Kentucky. 2 of those on the road. What did I say on Twitter yesterday? I said, shit, if y'all think Twitter's been hell this week, just wait till we only beat Georgia State by 7. It'll be fucking chaos. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think if you don't cover against Georgia State, even if you do cover, Nobody's going to be picking you to beat Arkansas. If you don't cover, sure as shit, nobody's going to be picking you to beat Arkansas. So you probably will get a good line from the gambling side, yes. I will say, though, I think if you can go 4-2 in that first 6, I think that's successful. Because and I would argue, Dalton, out of Arkansas, Georgia, and Kentucky, I most want to beat Kentucky. I want to beat Georgia. But if we beat Georgia and lose to Kentucky, what did it matter? What did it matter? Hey, you want to finish 3rd in the East? Well, you got to beat Kentucky. You got to beat Kentucky. You got to knock them down a peg. You know? You got to knock them down a peg. I think 4-2 or better start. Whoever you beat is successful. And then your next 6, A&M. How about Mizzou is homecoming this year? A&M on the road, or excuse me, at home. A&M, Mizzou, at Vandy, at Florida, Tennessee, and then at Clemson. That stretch, Vandy's the only, I would say, kick-in guarantee. I agree you should beat Missouri. So I'll just give you that one. That's 2. And then you've got 2 games that most would throw in the L column, and A&M and Clemson. And then you got Tennessee and Florida that I would definitely put in the toss-up column. Yeah. I mean, Mizzou you have to beat, bro. They're not – I don't think they're going to be very good. You got to beat them. Right. Dude, I don't know what Mizzou is selling. I don't know what Mizzou is selling to people. I don't know what Kentucky sells, honestly, other than Stoops is a great developer of talent, but who wants to go wear blue in Kentucky? Why? Is it the tin roof? Is that what it is? Is the tin roof better there? There's a tin roof in Lexington, right? Talon's not listening to anything I'm saying. Is there a tin roof in Lexington, Kentucky? Like the Kentucky Wildcats tin roof? Are they better than us? Is that what it is? Battle of the Tin Roofs. Louisville one. I always see y'all going after the Louisville people. Very good.
So if we, let's say we beat like Texas A&M and Georgia, but we lose to Kentucky and Mizzou.
Hypothetical, you beat A&M in Georgia, but lose to Kentucky and Mizzou in the most absurd season of all time. What's your question? How do we feel? Terrible. Dude, I just – well, from that aspect, sure. I mean, hey, in that aspect, let's just go 2-10 and beat Georgia and Clemson. To hell with it. None of it makes – and, okay, we'll go 3-9. But none of it makes sense. We just show up out of nowhere and play out of our asses for 3 games. I wonder this, though, because you think about it, right? At some point, somebody's got to be the person that's bold enough in the preseason that says, this is the year Carolina's beating Clemson. Somebody's got to do it at some point. Is it going to be me? Do I have to be that guy? Yeah, but I mean, I guess I'm talking – yeah, I mean, Boomer's done it. I guess I'm thinking from the – I don't know. Sure, Boomer's done it. I'm not discrediting Big Game Boomer. I don't really – he has, but he's subtly done it. Right? I want to see somebody like literally make a piece of content around my upset of the year, South Carolina's biggest upset of the season. I so badly, like, I'm going to pick the games how I feel they're going to go. But I'd be lying to you if I said I didn't want to be the guy that picks Carolina to beat Clemson, because I know social media would melt. Clemson fans would go ballistic, bro. Spencer Rattler goes into Death Valley and shreds that Tigers secondary without Brent Venables, and Carolina beats Clemson in a shootout. Just go ahead and tweet that, print that, tweet that, my guy, tweet that. Go ahead, put it in ink. Check. Hey, I'm checking the Clemson. Dub. Easy dub. Rat throws for 350 and 4 tutties.
I mean, one of these years we're going to get.
It's got to happen at some point.
I don't think the streak's going to get to double digits. Now,
I hope not.
this year, maybe not, but I think in the next 2 to 3 years, probably in the next 2. If it's not this year, it's probably going to be next year.
Maybe. Next year's team will be interesting. You lose a lot going into next year.
But you also get a lot.
Well, I mean, you recruit. Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing for next year is we're looking way too far ahead, but I'm not even thinking win totals. I just want to see next year out of Bailey, Dave. If the transfer portal brings someone, just establish a quarterback. You got to have that position figured out. Make it a trend that we're going to be good at QB, and then just go from there. So for next year, that's what I'm most looking for. But I mean, that's so far, dude.